have your attention, did you know that you could take a voyage on a container ship like the one seen here? Well, you can. In 2010, we were visiting Savannah, Georgia, walking down River Street when a large ship like this one blew its whistle and sailed up the river toward the cargo port. I was fascinated and I was hooked. I went home and Googled container ships just to find out more about them. And I found out that some do take paying passengers. I just had to go on one. I spent the better part of a year researching before I finally decided that this was definitely on my bucket list. So we booked a voyage and we were on our way. So what's it like to take such a voyage? Unlike a cruise on a cruise ship, you must make your own entertainment. We read, my wife did needlepoint, we wandered the whole ship from the bridge to the engine room to the galley, from the stern to the forecastle. We talked to our fellow passengers. We had 3 other voyagers on board with us. We talked with the officers and crew members. We had a daily happy hour, and I wrote a book on the experience. Accommodations are much more spacious than similarly priced cabins on cruise ships. We took our meals in the officers' mess room and were served by the steward. Food is not as gourmet as the cruise ship's food, but it is nutritious and well prepared, and the proportions are more than ample. On our ship, wine was served at lunch and dinner at no extra cost. One night we had a barbecue with the officers and crew on one of the open decks. On board there were 2 gymnasiums, a sauna, a small swimming pool, and laundry facilities. There were also 2 lounges, one for the officers and another for the crew, but I rarely saw anyone in. We seldom stop to think about how all the material things we find in our shops and stores and malls gets to be on the shelf that's there. Watching the loading and unloading of cargo is fascinating, as is strolling the upper deck and watching for sea life, fish, dolphins, whales, or other ships. Here we see a cargo hold being unloaded. The device you see swinging there on the cables is called a spreader. When the spreader is lowered onto the top of a container, the little light you see there in the box will change positions, and that will notify the crane operator far above that he is safely locked onto the container and may lift the container out of the hold and move it toward the dock. Up she comes. And over to the dock. When the container is lowered to the dock, the men you see on the platform there will remove twist locks, which enables them to lock one container onto another, and it stabilizes them during the voyage. Here you can see me fooling around with one of the mooring lines on the forecastle. Looks like I'm working there, but actually I never did a lick of work other than to pull the cork out of a wine bottle. Now when a ship arrives at its destination, it just doesn't sail into port. Well outside of the port, the ship has to pick up a harbor pilot. Here we are in the middle of the night. It's raining quite hard, and we're being approached by the pilot boat, who will bring our pilot to us. We're probably going between 7 and 10 knots at this point. We don't stop for this operation. The pilot boat just nudges itself up against our hull. It'll come back into focus here in just a second. The pilot there in the black walks down the deck of his boat. The man in yellow rain jacket is going to assist him. I'm going to lean out over the edge of the railing so I can see him grab a hold of the Jacob's ladder. Climbs up about 10 or 15 steps on the Jacob's ladder onto the gangway, and as he does so, the pilot ship is beginning to pull away from ours, and he climbs up the ladder and onto the gangway, and in a few moments he'll be on our upper deck, and then he'll take an elevator up to the bridge. Getting off the ship is this just the reverse. Here is a daytime shot with no rain. Pilot climbs down the Jacob's ladder, waves a friendly goodbye to us, and pulls away from our ship. Now they're going to go back to the ship that followed us out of Rotterdam and pick up a pilot there before they return to the mothership that's waiting for them. Entering the container port at night is a very beautiful sight. Here I'm standing on our outside deck, open deck on G deck, about 80 feet above the water as we cruise into the port of Le Havre. One deck above us on the navigation deck or the bridge deck, we see the harbor pilot and our captain on the flying bridge guiding us to our berth. We're probably going about 1/2, maybe 1 knot right now, very slowly, very slowly. Just to your right there, you see the door to our passageway, which leads down to our cabin. Ahead of us, you see 4 gantries. That will be where our berth is located. And just off to our port side here is a smaller container ship. It's evidently finished loading because that gantry is in the up position. So probably when we wake up in the morning, he will have departed. And we also like to watch the tugboats as they push us into our berth. Getting up early to watch the sunrise is another activity that we enjoyed very much on our cruise. This is the beautiful hanging gardens which we visited on one of our days in Le Havre, France. They had all kinds of exotic and tropical plants and a beautiful, beautiful rose garden. This is the central square in downtown Antwerp, Belgium. There's an interesting story behind this, but I'll have to let you read that if you buy the book. This is an interesting church in Bremerhaven, Germany that was bombed out in World War II. They rebuilt it. It has a very interesting architecture on the inside. You can see other pictures of it in the book. Unfortunately, we arrived late one afternoon in Rotterdam and were scheduled to leave early the next morning, so we didn't get any town time here. But we spent our time watching all the activity going on in the port, shuffling containers about from one place to another. Occupied a good part of our day there. For the full story of our adventure, I hope you'll consider buying one of my 2 books. This one is in full color, 105 full color photographs. The page you see here is similar to the one you'll get, and this is how you order it. The other book is black and white photographs, same text, same pictures, just in black and white. This is a representative page from that book. And here's the information if you choose to order it. And thanks for watching, and I hope you have smooth sailing on all your voyages in life.